Good evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Thursday, September 7, 2023. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Oil blocks is auctioned to close next Tuesday. No hiccups so far. Works progressing on MAHDIA tragedy COI, says Secretary. First of its kind Rett syndrome clinic to provide assistance to potential patients. SKELDON hospital affected by shortage of staff, medical supplies, RDC told, and Berbice double murder, suspects released again, evidence submitted for testing. Now for the news in detail. The auction process of some 14 oil blocks offshore Guyana is coming to an end, with companies having until September 12 to submit their bids. Rupasina reports.
Auctioning of the blocks had been pushed back as government signaled its intentions of improving the sector's regulatory framework before potential investors put in their final bids. Some 14 oil blocks were up for tender, 11 in the shallow area and 3 in the deep sea area. These blocks range from 1,000 to 2,000 square kilometers.
Next week. So next week it will close. The 12th, I think it's the 12th? The 12th. Next week is the 12th.
It was the government's intention to have a new model production sharing agreement and the regulatory document completed before the auction. Under new conditions, Guyana stands to benefit from as high as a $20 million signature bonus for the deep water blocks and a $10 million for the shallow water blocks. Meanwhile, the Vice President has clarified that in relation to Spanish oil company Repsol exploration, government has reclaimed the Canuco block. He clarified that the $500 million invested over the span of its license cannot be reclaimed, and moreover, a fresh license will have to be issued should that decision be made for the block to be in their possession again.
All the new conditions would apply. It would be the same as a person coming there for the first time. There would be no carried interest across. If you move to a production license, then you can claim, because that's when you have earnings, then you can claim the cost for exploration as part of the cost bank. You can put it in the cost bank.
In September of 2019, Repsol had started drilling the Carapa-1 well in the Canuco block. That well alone was reported to cost some $20 million. However, while approximately 4 meters of net oil pay was found, British-owned Tullow Oil, which owned a stake in the Canuco block alongside Repsol, had announced that it would not be commercializing the well. Rupasina, the Evening News.
The Center for Local Business Development has relaunched its online business directory portal, which will see registered businesses benefiting from new and innovative features, such as automated registration for training and networking events, as well as a more targeted way of finding opportunities. Vanu Manichand tells us more.
The supplier registration portal has been rebranded as the Center Hub, a more user-friendly and easily accessible platform for suppliers and buyers seeking business, procurement, and training opportunities, as well as business-to-business networking in Guyana. According to Director of the Center for Local Business Development, Natasha Gaskin-Peters, this revamping of the online business directory is timely and in keeping with the technological advancements since the portal was launched in 2017.
With all technology, updates and upgrades are necessary. Over the past year and a half, the Center engaged with several local businesses through focus group discussions to get your feedback on the portal. Meetings were also held with ExxonMobil, the prime contractors, government ministries, the diplomatic community, and the business associations. Based on these engagements, the portal was upgraded with new features.
Among the new features that will benefit the 6,000 plus members, 3/4 of whom are local businesses, is the use of an international standard industrial classification ISIC coding system.
This will enable businesses to have their goods and services coded to an international code, enabling more targeted notification of opportunities to businesses. ISIC code also allows the center to ensure that the training to companies are mapped back to the needs of our growing economy. The new business-to-business feature will allow companies to reach out to each other. So whether it be a local business or international business, to partner. This will help to fast-track the process of smart partnering. Support to the local content secretariat with new features including automated notification to suppliers 3 months prior to their local content certificate's expiration date.
The hub also features automated registration for all trainings and networking events hosted by the center. The CLDB director explained that the center is also offering training sessions to registered members on how to navigate the new portal.
Over the last 2 weeks, we've had a soft launch, and so businesses have been engaging with the new platform and providing us feedback. We've been answering their queries, and this will continue rigorously over the next few months. So we will be offering trainings on the new center hub to businesses so that they could be familiar with the upgrades and ensure that they effectively utilize the platform. So again, those trainings will also be posted onto the hub so that they can apply, and we will tailor those trainings to the business needs.
Member profiles on the previous supplier registration portal are automatically transferred onto the new center hub, so there is no need for any re-registration. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
Some 3 weeks into its 2-month timeline, the Commission of Inquiry into the deadly MAHDIA Dormitory fire in Region 8 is on track as it prepares for public hearings in the coming weeks. Vanu Manakchand joins us again with the details.
This is according to Secretary of the COI Attorney Javid Shadiq during a telephone interview with the Evening News on Thursday. On August 10, President Dr. Irfan Ali appointed Major General retired Joe Singh to serve as Chairman of the COI alongside Chairman of the National Tushaus Council, Derek John, and Attorney Dr. Kim Kite Thomas. The Presidential Commission is tasked with investigating the events surrounding the tragic fire at the MAHDIA Dormitory that claimed the lives of 20 children on May 21. Last month, the Commission conducted a familiarization visit to Region 8.
We had a trip to Region 8. The purpose of this, as was stated before, was to see the site. We did that. As we were in that area, we also visited the satellite communities, MAHDIA, Campbelltown, Paru, Tenapau, and the other one. So we did a visit to those. Purpose of the visit was so that everyone in the commission can have an understanding of how far the children would have to travel and so on to get to the school.
During the visit, a religious function was held in memory of the 19 females and 1 5-year-old boy who perished in the blaze. Meanwhile, as the Commission prepares for public hearings sometime in the coming weeks, Shadiq noted that they have to be cognizant of the ongoing Amerindian Heritage Month observances.
The Amerindian communities are celebrating their Heritage Month. It's not a challenge. It's just that if we make arrangements to go into MAHDIA to hold meetings, we have to ensure that the people who we are going to meet are in MAHDIA. We've been having good interactions with everyone that we've asked for information and so on. We've been having good interactions with everyone so far.
The COI Secretariat has already gathered the necessary documentations and information from state agencies and is currently cross-referencing them with the terms of reference. Only earlier this week, the MAHDIA COI had rejected a request by the attorney representing the teenager who is accused of starting the deadly fire to halt its work until the matter is completed in court. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
Following a one-year stint in Guyana, the 18th Chinese Medical Brigade is set to return home later this month after performing some 2,500 operations, treating over 10,000 patients and conducting a number of training sessions to improve healthcare provision in the country. In this Pujarambaran report, we hear that the leader of the brigade has noted the immense progress in the country's healthcare system over the years.
This year is particularly meaningful for the team as it marks the 30th year since China has been providing medical assistance to Guyana through its revolving door of medical brigades. Over the last 3 decades, a total of 263 doctors have visited Guyana to offer their expertise. General Surgeon Dr. Chu Jue is leading the current team, which is specialized in general surgery, burns and plastic surgery, orthopedics, nephrology, acupuncture and moxibustion therapy, radiology, ophthalmology, obstetrics and gynecology, anesthesiology, and pathology.
I really enjoy working with our Guyanese colleagues. Yeah, they are very diligent and very responsible. So, in fact, we have carried out a lot of complex surgeries. As I mentioned before, all the cases we did it together. So I think we have a good collaboration.
Within Dr. Chu's team, 11 persons work primarily out of the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, GPHC, while the remaining 5 work at the Linden Hospital in Region 10. Since their arrival in Guyana, they've seen over 5,000 inpatients and 5,000 outpatients who most commonly require gallbladder, breast, thyroid, and hernia surgeries. However, the team has dealt with its fair share of complex cases.
Through the efforts of the previous team, I think the medical level of Guyana has been improved greatly. At this time, right now, the Guyanese doctors can do a lot of operations by themselves. Not only the operations I mentioned before, the 4 common, for routine operations. They can also do some complex surgeries, for example, the resection of the stomach or some colon diseases. They can even do some laparoscopic surgeries by themselves. So I think it's a great progress. Yeah.
The Chinese medical team continuously makes efforts to upskill the Guyanese doctors they work with, not just at GPHC and the Linden Hospital, but also in regional hospitals across the country.
The China medical team carried out many teaching and training work for the local doctors because the ultimate goal is not to do the surgery by ourselves, but we want to teach the local doctor to do the surgery by themselves.
Meanwhile, in a new initiative, 5 doctors from the Georgetown Hospital are expected to travel to China next year to receive further training and experience as the Medical Brigade and China National Offshore Oil Corporation establish a scholarship program.
Previously, the cooperation model is that the China sent doctors to Guyana to help them, and after the establishment of the scholarship, we can send some Guyanese doctor to China to further study. I think it's very useful. It's meaningful.
Dr. Chu, who described his one-year stint as unforgettable, returns to China with his team on September 26. A new 16-member team is expected to arrive in Guyana on September 22nd. Pooja Brand for the Evening News.
Coming up, motorcyclist killed in Georgetown accident after failing to stop at intersection and debris removed following Bartica stelling collapse. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles.
The biggest party in sport is back. CPL returns with more action than ever before.
Are you kidding me? Olé!
Watch the biggest names in cricket battle it out in the race for glory.
Celebrate some more!
Get your tickets now at cplt20.com or at the box office. Join the party. Experience cricket played louder.
Miners, welders, and contractors. Have broken parts caused you tremendous downtime? Do you need an extra heavy-duty, dependable welding machine that will get the toughest jobs done and can also double as a generator to power all of your tools? Well, your #1 industrial solutions provider Sylvie's has you covered. We currently have in stock the Hobart Champion Elite Arc Welder and Generator. This capable electric start generator produces up to 11,000 watts of AC power to run tools, work lights, or backup power during an outage. It can simultaneously deliver 150 amps weld output and 8,000 watts of generator power and can run up to 14 hours on one 12-gallon tank of gas. This portable generator handles mild steel, stainless steel, and cast iron with a maximum thickness of ½ inch in a single pass. So what are you waiting for? If you can't make it to our 31 High and Hatfield Streets Georgetown location, we can deliver. Give us a call on 227-6226 or WhatsApp us on 623-7755 or visit our website sylviesonline.com. Sylvie's Industrial Solution, proudly serving Guyana for over 4 decades.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. A motorcyclist who is yet to be identified was killed during the wee hours of today in an accident at the junction of North Road and Camp Street, Georgetown. Police said the crash occurred at around 1:10 and involved motorcar PNN 7200 and motorcycle CJ 4079. The car was being driven by a 39-year-old resident of Stelling, East Bank, Demerara. Based on the investigation, police said the motorcycle was proceeding west along North Road at a fast rate of speed, and on approaching the intersection of North Road and Camp Street, where a traffic light was flashing red in his direction, the motorcyclist failed to stop. As such, he collided with the left front portion of the car, which was proceeding south along the eastern drive lane of Camp Street. As a result of the collision, the motorcyclist was flung some distance, ending up near a concrete fence on the western pavement. He sustained injuries to his head and body. The motorcyclist was picked up by a police patrol in an unconscious condition and transported to the Georgetown Public Hospital's emergency unit, where he succumbed to his injuries while receiving medical attention. The body is at the Georgetown Public Hospital's mortuary, awaiting to be identified. The car driver is in police custody assisting with the investigation. We now tell you that the 2 suspects who were rearrested in relation to the murders of a mother and her child have been released from custody as police continue their efforts to figure out what led to the horrific demise of the Berbice duo. Tasia Dickinson tells us more.
It was reported that 33-year-old Cyrano Arukium, the brother and uncle of the victims, and another person were rearrested in connection with the murders of 31-year-old Melissa Arukium and her son, 8-year-old Anthony Arukium. On Thursday, police spokesperson Mark Ramata revealed that the suspects were released last night after being further interviewed by investigators based on certain information that was obtained. Meanwhile, the police said investigators are also awaiting the results of physical evidence submitted to the Guyana Forensic Laboratory for testing. On August 23, 2023, the bodies of the mother and her son were discovered at their home at Mangrove Street, Rose Hall, Town Region 6. The case was transferred to the Major Crimes Unit. Within hours of the discovery, police had arrested 4 persons of interest, including the brothers and boyfriend of the now-dead woman. It was reported that the woman's body was found lying in a pool of blood on the floor, while the child was on his bed and was also in a pool of blood. His body had what appeared to be at least 1 stab wound to the back of his neck, while his mother's body appeared to have chop wounds to the neck, shoulder, and chest. The victim operated a small grocery shop at her home. She shared the building with her brother, Cyrano, a cane harvester, but they lived in separate apartments. The brother reportedly left home at 4 hours on the day in question to go to work, and upon his return at about 11 hours, he did not notice anything unusual. The bodies were then discovered at about 13 hours by another brother who was visiting. The woman's boyfriend had told detectives that one day prior to the gruesome discovery, he had visited the woman's home where he found her crying. The man explained that when he asked her why she was crying, she did not give much details. The mother and son were laid to rest on Saturday. Tassia Dickinson, The Evening News.
Sections of the Bartica stelling in Region 7 collapsed yesterday amid strong winds. However, by evening, the debris was removed and the area was restored to a state that would facilitate hassle-free movement of traffic. Tassia Dickinson joins us again with the details.
On Wednesday afternoon, sections of the Bartica stelling in Region 7 collapsed. At the time, works were ongoing at the facility, according to Minister within the Ministry of Public Works, Deodat Indar. Minister Indar noted too that the situation has already been addressed.
The stelling is on a current active contract. Right? It's an active contract to rehabilitate the stelling. The shed that fell yesterday was being demolished, but the contractor kept it as he was constructing. He kept that piece that would provide a little shading and so on whilst he was constructing. Yesterday the rain came and then they had some wind there and that piece collapsed. Yesterday after the last night the contractors worked to remove all of the ruins from it. So that has been removed by last night. Actually last night it was removed.
There were no reported injuries. However, a car that was parked nearby received damages. Rehabilitation works on the Bartica stelling are currently ongoing. Though works in this regard had started under the APNU-AFC administration, the project faced several setbacks and was subjected to criticisms regarding its quality. As such, when the PPPC administration took office in 2020, the project was retendered. Following a competitive bidding process, K&K Construction and Hardware Supplies was awarded a contract for $553 million. This contract was only awarded in March of this year, and according to reports, the retendering of the project was necessary to ensure that the works was completed to a high standard and within the 12-month time frame. Tassia Dickinson, The Evening News.
A shortage of medical staff, including nurses and doctors, is hampering the delivery of proper health care on the Upper Quarantine. This is compounded by a shortage of critical medical supplies. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael reports that this issue was addressed at the level of the Regional Democratic Council today.
There is no proper medical supervision at night at the SKELDON Hospital. Councillor Shirley Scott informed the Regional Democratic Council in Region 6 during a statutory meeting on Thursday. She told the RDC that she had a first-hand experience of the situation and that it was not the first time such a complaint came before the councillors in charge of the region.
I remember standing here and inquiring about SKELDON Hospital as it relates to staffing. And this council was informed that there was enough staffing at SKELDON Hospital 1, especially with the doctors. I was there for 4 nights and in the mornings and the visiting hours. And I saw 2 Guyanese doctors for those 4 days consecutively and 2 Cuban doctors.
Scott told the RDC that she raised the issue with several persons in the management team of the hospital.
All of the reports that is coming from SKELDON to the region is falling on deaf ears. Shortages of staff, nurses, shortages of doctors, medication for that very patient. The patient was expected to have medication at 6 a.m. that morning. I was there. The patient received her medication until 9 a.m. Because I intervened on that day, that patient was transferred. The patient took 4 hours after all of the preparation was done to be moved from SKELDON Hospital, even though the ambulance was there. When I inquired why, I was told the doctor is on lunch. The doctor has to eat. Of course I agree with that. The doctor has to eat. But this is one doctor that has been working since the morning. I was told that the Cuban doctors have limited medical functioning because there are certain things they can do.
Regional Chairman David Armagon acknowledged the challenge and noticed that an intervention is being made by the Health Ministry.
I know there are issues relating to staffing, which the ministry is looking at the moment.
As a matter of fact, the doctor resigned 2 days after.
What's the name?
The very doctor that I met,
What's his name?
Dr. Aziz.
Oh no, we have asked him to hold on, Javed.
Well, you see,
Javed indeed
he was so frustrated, out of it.
has asked to leave, and he said he's giving us up to the zero.
I was told that the doctor that is supervising the health centers was asked to cover SKELDON. I proceeded to make a call. I spoke to her. She confirmed the exact information I received from the sister in charge, the doctor that is about to resign, and all the staff at SKELDON. All the reports and the frustrations are falling on deaf ears at the regional level. To add icing to the cake, I believe that because I had the opportunity as well to speak to an executive of this region, a medical executive, that shared the very frustration of SKELDON Hospital.
I think at the moment the ministry is looking at staffing. We have issues with regards to staffing. And some people seem to believe, as you rightly said, that there is enough people to work the system. And it is very clear now that the staffing is a problem. And I'm glad that you raised it too, because we have raised it at some level. And we have had the answer, just like you did, that the system used to run before with less staff, but I don't know. We have to be able now to look at staffing at these institutions, because we have complaints at New Amsterdam Hospital as well.
SKELDON is officially classified as the death house of Region 6. It is indeed a death house, Chairman. And I'm asking this council and every one of us to check the other hospitals, and collectively we need to make representations for these people in Region 6.
Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Since its inception in 2019, Precious Angels Charity has been making efforts to raise awareness about the rare genetic neurological disorder, Rett syndrome, one that founder Hadia Mohammed's niece has been diagnosed with for several years now. In advancing this initiative, Mohammed is hoping to secure funds through her charity to complete construction of a new clinic that aims to screen and treat patients. Pooja Rambaran has this story.
Precious Angels Charity founder Hadia Mohammed and head of the volunteer committee Khadija Narain on Thursday spoke with the Evening News about their organization and its upcoming plans for Rett Syndrome Awareness Month.
We are a non-profit organizational an educational organization aimed towards raising awareness about Rett syndrome. We intend to provide assistance to those affected by Rett syndrome, as well as to raise funds that will go towards the further development and improvement of research in hopes of one day obtaining a cure for Rett syndrome.
Caused by a gene mutation on the X chromosome, the disorder mostly affects females and begins to display itself between 6 to 18 months after birth.
It leads to severe impairments such as loss of motor skills, loss of speech. It affects nearly every aspect of an individual's lives, their ability to speak, their ability to walk, breathe, even eat. And Rett syndrome is marked mainly by signs such as repetitive hand movements. So you'll get like the wringing and the washing of the hands, muscle tone, loss of muscle tone, scoliosis, and seizures.
Mohammed noted that her niece, currently the only known case of Rett syndrome in Guyana, was originally misdiagnosed with autism. This is a common occurrence according to Narain.
Commonly, Rett syndrome can be misdiagnosed as autism. So 1 in 88 persons are affected by autism, but 1 in 10,000 are affected by Rett syndrome. That goes to show how rare it is, and there isn't a lot of research done, or it's not widely known about, talked about. People don't know about it. People wouldn't know what are the signs or how to handle this.
Given the lack of knowledge surrounding the disorder, Precious Angels Charity is moving to construct a clinic to serve potential patients in the near future.
One individual with Rett syndrome would require a lot of care and attention that not every special needs school or every clinic in Guyana can offer. So there's also costs you have to bear in mind about,
specific medications for seizures.
Yeah.
Breathing complications, respiratory complications specifically.
So we're hoping to have medications for that so that, the families with a person with Rett syndrome can purchase them here rather than purchasing them in another country. There's also stuff like therapies. Since they cannot speak, most of them lost their ability to speak. They need speech therapy, they need behavioral therapy, they need occupational therapy.
Coinciding with Rett Syndrome Awareness Month, the team will be hosting a walk and barbecue sale on October 29th, not just to continue raising awareness, but also to raise funds for this clinic. The aim is to open the clinic next year, but that is dependent on the funds raised. Tickets for the barbecue, priced at $2,000, can be purchased at Mohammed's Enterprise and Hadi's World at City Mall. The team will be selling shirts, purple, the color designated for Rett syndrome, at $2,500. Pooja Rembrandt for the Evening News.
The procurement process in Guyana is improving, a good indicator when it comes to creating an enabling environment for companies looking to bid for government projects. This is according to outgoing U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch. Here are the details from Jarrell Bryan.
Outgoing U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch, recently held her last press conference in Guyana. During that press conference, the ambassador spoke of the influx of U.S. companies in Guyana looking for business opportunities. The ambassador noted that transparency surrounding procurement processes in Guyana has been steadily improving.
We've worked very closely with the government of Guyana on issues of transparency and accountability. We have excellent partners throughout the government, and so we are seeing a procurement process that continues to improve here, and we think that's very important. It's important to modernize systems that will be very attractive to investors. Guyana's been able to attract many investors already, but at the rate at which companies are coming here to look at the opportunities, I think the more the country can do to modernize, to digitize, to have a process that's easy to navigate for companies, that will be in Guyana's favor.
The diplomat further noted that the embassy plays its own role in aiding U.S. companies navigating bidding for contracts.
I think it's a process that continues to improve, and we educate our companies on the processes, and they're learning, and as I said, navigating the tender process, and continued improvement is always welcomed.
U.S. companies routinely bid for contracts in Guyana. One of the largest ongoing projects, the gas-to-energy project, currently has a U.S. company involved. U.S.-based company Linseca, in partnership with local firm CH4 Group, has a U.S. $759 million contract to build the integrated NGL plant and 300 megawatt power plant for the project. Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbor Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Friday, September 8th at 12 hours and then again at 23:30 hours, both for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Friday, September 8th at 11:45 hours for a period of 1.5 hours.
CPL vehicle passes on sale from tomorrow, and ExxonMobil powers Future Warriors Taball Tournament. Details of these stories and more in the Sportcast, sponsored by MACorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
Premier. Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe.
Sun or rain? Up or down? No one knows what tomorrow will bring, but with Premier's commercial property insurance, you'll be ready. For all risks insurance, call 223-0840 or visit premierinsurance.gy. Fuel your success. Premier Insurance. Premier insurance coverage.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
Superbet, your best bet. Did you know that you have a chance to win up to 50 million with sport betting? Simply place your bets at www.superbet.gy for your chance to be the next lucky millionaire. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and